Our next guest is Charmaine Yoest. She is president and CEO of Americans United for Life. Americans United for Life is the legal architect of the pro-life movement. AUL's legal strategists have been involved in every life-related case brought before the United States Supreme Court, beginning with Roe v. Wade. AUL is the pioneer of the state-based model legislative strategy, which has increased exponentially with significant victories in the past few years. AUL's legal strategy works both to save the lives of the unborn while also confronting the so-called reliance interests adopted by the Supreme Court in Planned Parenthood versus Casey, the false idea that women rely on abortion to succeed in American society. Charmaine is also the co-author of The Mother in the Middle, an examination of child care policy, published by HarperCollins, and is currently working on a second book related to modern feminism, with the working title, Women Alone. Please help me welcome Charmaine Yoest.
Tonight, President Obama will address the nation in his State of the Union address. But as the most pro-abortion president in history, we are quite certain that he will not report to the nation on an abortion industry that enjoys significant funding from the federal government. Since he won't, Americans United for Life will. Planned Parenthood is Abortion, Inc. They are the largest abortion business in the United States, and every day this abortion business receives 1.26 million taxpayer dollars. And last year they reported a profit of $127 million, while receiving a $528 million tax subsidy. In fact, your tax dollars accounted for at least 40% of Planned Parenthood's total revenue. President Obama will not tell you this. So today, we're releasing a report to share the latest information and our analysis from Planned Parenthood's latest annual report. At Planned Parenthood, abortion is going up, government funding is going up, and everything else is going down. President Obama won't tell you tonight that under Cecile Richards' leadership, Planned Parenthood's cancer screening services have been cut by more than half. In contrast, last year they performed
over 327,000 abortions.
And abortion made up 94% of all their pregnancy-related services. But President Obama won't tell you that either. Using your tax dollars, they are increasing their market share of this gruesome business. They've increased the number of abortions they're performing from 1 out of every 5 abortions to 1 in every 3. Planned Parenthood is Abortion, Inc. In these difficult economic times, how much is that worth? Since Barack Obama became president, Planned Parenthood has reported over $510 million in profit. At the same time, Planned Parenthood has taken in $3 billion tax dollars, your tax dollars. Will President Obama tell you that?
Thank you, Planned Parenthood. God bless you.
I don't think so.
Gosh, and I was right. Hey, it is so great to be with you guys today. When I got the email about the fact that this is the 10th anniversary of the Pro-Life BlogCon, I was really excited because I don't know if they mentioned that I was here for the first one, and I'm always really anxious anywhere I go to take credit for bringing Jared. No, not for the BlogCon, but for bringing Jared to Washington D.C. Yay, these many years ago. I don't think either he or I want to actually confess how many years ago it was now, but. In any way, I wanted to start with the video because I've been asked to talk about how you can make a difference online and what pro-life activism looks like and how the new media can be useful in making the pro-life case. So I'm going to get to that. But I don't think anybody's going to be too upset if I deviate a little bit from my prepared remarks to talk a little bit about the unusual situation we find ourselves in this morning. Anybody mind if I address that? Anybody feeling a little bit down, a little discouraged about what we will go up to? Anybody? Yeah, Jill, I kind of thought there might be a few people. So let me talk about that just a little bit. Number one, the first point I want to make to you is that if anyone needed a reminder we got one last night, which is that politics ain't beanbag. Politics ain't beanbag. It's an old saying from people who like the rough and tumble of this business. And frankly, it's what we signed on for those of us who work in this business. And you never know what's going to happen, and you have to be prepared in politics to take some setbacks. You got to be prepared to come back and to dig in and to say, and here's point number 2, we have a long-term strategy in this fight that is winning. That's the number one message I want you to hear from me today. If you're feeling a little bit down, I want you to remember that our strategy is winning. And we are gathering momentum, accumulating victories, and restoring a culture of life in this country today. Now, how do I know this? I want you to be thinking about this all day today, because we're all going to leave from here and go out to the march. And what are you going to see when you get out there on the National Capitol Mall? Everywhere I turn in the media today and interacting with the abortion lobby, what we hear, sometimes under the radar, but sometimes just straight up, the abortion lobby is worrying about millennials. They are worrying to death about millennials. And so while they are worrying about millennials, we are marching with them. If you're going to quote me from anything, please, let me just say that again. While the abortion lobby is worrying about millennials, we are marching with them. A few years ago, I know all of you guys remember Nancy Keenan writing an article about how she was struck getting off the metro over here at Union Station. She wrote, "I couldn't believe I got off the metro and I was surrounded by young people." Well, if you go to an abortion march, you are not surrounded by young people, but we are, because this is a young movement, because young people understand social justice. They understand inequity. They understand that their mission as young people is to bring their passion and their enthusiasm to defending the defenseless and to giving a voice to those who don't have it. Our mission in the pro-life movement is to be about human rights for human beings, and this is the social justice movement of our day. So I'm sorry, I'm getting a little worked up because I want everybody to be encouraged today, because we're the ones who have momentum on our side. Not only are we the ones who are marching with the millennials, my next point is that the abortion lobby right now is back on their heels. They are back on their heels. They are putting up closed signs on abortion mills all across this country, from sea to shining sea. That's what this march is about today. We pass clinic regulations, they cry foul, and they say, all of a sudden we have to have clean clinics. Well, what happens? They have to close because they refuse to comply with the most basic medical requirements. They've been operating in this country for far too long, unregulated, unsupervised, and unrepentant. And finally, the chickens are coming home to roost. They can't, frankly, let's be honest, and this is where social media comes in, because they're talking all the time about how unfair it is that they have to close their doors. Don't let them get away with that. They could stay open if they would do business in a normal, humane way, but they refuse to. And why? Ask the question why. Why will they not? It's because operating according to normal, average, everyday expectations is too expensive for them. They don't want to spend any money giving women decent health care. So let me transition then into closing with some real specifically how social media fits into this. How social media fits into this, I was listening to one person writing about their projections for the 2016 election, and they made a comment that really kind of struck me. Our world is changing so fast that sometimes we don't even realize it when we're in the midst of it. But if you think back to the last election, the last presidential election, we had nowhere near the rapid response that we do now. Think about how Twitter has exploded in the last 4 years. Just absolutely exploded. We have tools to combat the awesome and ridiculous resources that $3 billion under Barack Obama has given Planned Parenthood. They do have significant resources and rapid response. But, it doesn't cost you anything, hardly, other than the cost of your iPhone, to respond on Twitter and to take those 140 characters and get the truth out there. Please, we started with this video because this is a classic example of the kind of work that we can do out there now of getting the truth out there. I would just straight up ask you, please retweet this video. Please retweet the information that's in there. $510 million in profit to Planned Parenthood alone under Barack Obama. $3 billion in tax subsidy. Get that information out there. You have the tools at your hand, and we need your partnership. We have an entire report that our attorneys have scoured through, the Planned Parenthood annual report, and have looked at the trends. Did you know before this morning that under Cecile Richards' leadership, cancer screenings have been cut in half? They've been cut in half. So the next time you see Cecile Richards out there claiming to be a defender of women's health and a defender of women getting cancer screenings, ask the question, why are you cutting cancer screening services at Planned Parenthood and claiming to be at the forefront of providing women's health? Put the data out there. Put it in their face. Ask them questions. I want to remind you actually of something that I find is really, really effective in social media. You make an assertion, and they're going to push back, but ask them a question. Force them to answer the question that you want to know the answer to. And then finally, because I'm out of time, tell stories. Tell stories. Social media is the perfect place to get stories out there. Honestly, we need to, I went to grad school and studied statistics because I believe in public policy. I believe in numbers. I like numbers. But let's be honest, numbers are never going to change people's real hearts. So at the same time you're engaging their brains with the numbers and getting the facts and figures out there, always, always remember that at the end of the day, engaging people's hearts is telling people stories. Telling people stories. So use your social media to engage with people in a humane and human way and connect with them about real life experiences. And finally, and my very last point is, abortion harms, it destroys a baby, and it damages a woman. And those are the stories we need to get out there because the abortion lobby has been very successful over the last several decades at driving a wedge between the pro-life movement and women. They have successfully characterized us as being only about the baby while they are the defenders of women's health. We need your help in social media and online to actively and aggressively confront that myth and to show it for the myth that it is. The pro-life movement has always been about women. And not only are the millennials coming alongside us, but women who have been hurt and damaged by abortion are as well. And that is why we have so much dynamism in this movement, so much energy, because our ranks are continually refreshed and growing while theirs are diminishing every day. So, yeah, we're upset about what happened, but be encouraged. Be encouraged because we are the ones who are building momentum and they are running scared. And I am so grateful to you guys for taking the time to be here and investing your time, your talents, your treasure in marching for life. Thank you. No, I am actually going down, but I saw that Tony Perkins just walked in. Hi, Tony, and thank you so much for doing this and for, giving your resources here to this great event. It's great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Charmaine, for your zeal and your fire, and for the example that you are to us, and for all the work you do for the pro-life movement.